What's up, guys? I literally have no idea what I'm doing. But the good thing is, the other night I was sitting, obviously we're all home a lot, and I was going on Twitter, and I was going to bed, and I was following Jake Owen's Twitter, and somebody had said, "Hey, why don't you play a song for us?" And he was like, "Yeah, like 15 minutes. I'll go to my garage and we'll play it." And I ended up watching. It was really cool. He went downstairs, played some music, and I was like, "Man, that's entertaining. Like, we're all sitting on our house. It's kind of cool." So that was my idea for doing this. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I figured that everyone loves a baseball story, and I got a few baseball stories. Playing 12 years in the big leagues, stuff just happens to you, which is kind of cool. But I got some cool stories, and the Schneider family, I appreciate. At least I know 6 people are watching this thing, and I know Kevin Euclid is out there watching, Tim McGarvey. So this is obviously uncharted territories for our country right now, which is crazy, and I don't want to get into all that stuff. But I just know, like, for me, like, perspective wise, it's given me a lot of time to be home with the kids. I got 4 kids and a lot of family time. I've played Scrabble for the first time in years, and I realized, boy, I got a terrible vocabulary. Like, I need to start looking up stuff in dictionary, thesaurus, all that stuff, because I got no idea what I'm doing in Scrabble. I watched Gladiator the other day with my sons. My one son, Andrew's about to go to college, and my other son, Jake's a junior in high school. And I was like, "Hey, have you guys ever seen Gladiator?" Of course you have, because every kid in the world's seen Gladiator, right? That gets that age. And they're like, "No, we've never seen it." So I was like, "Okay, we have nothing but time, kids. We're going to sit down. You're going to get off your phones for a couple hours, and we're going to watch Gladiator, right? Okay, Russell Crowe, he's a stud. We're going to watch it." So anyway, we watched Gladiator. So at least I feel like it's helped me fulfill that. That thing as a dad. Everyone's son should see the movie Gladiator. I think the whole thing is with me is like just the perspective that I do have time with my kids, and I'm really grateful for that. That I've kind of been forced to slow down, and I think we should all look at that. What's grateful in our lives that we can look at and really grab onto, so that we live in that abundance. So I was thinking about playing. It's so funny. I've been trying to play guitar for a couple years, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? Jake Owen plays it too. Maybe see if I can play it too." This is the only song I know, and this one goes out to Kevin Millar and Tim McGarvey. This is all, but I can't sing it though. Too. It's so. I'm so bad. Does anyone recognize it? Little Every Rose Has a Story. God, my bad. Okay, let's get to story time, because I'm good at story time. But I'll tell you what, I'm terrible at singing and playing guitar. All right, I sat by this picture because Jim Leyland is literally one of the greatest managers I ever played for. I had such a cool career, so many different stories, so many different places to play. You meet so many different characters along the way. But Jim Leyland is one of my favorite ever, and I am so grateful that I had a chance to play for him. I don't know why I'm sweating. Maybe I'm nervous because I've never done. Last week I was in Cincinnati and I did a speech in front of 1,000 people, and it was like, you get laughter, you get feedback, it's all good. I'm talking to myself right now, basically. So I don't know, it's feeling a little weird, but I hope people are tuning in. But Jim Leyland was one of my favorite guys ever. I just loved him so much. Loved the Pirates growing up. So when I went to Detroit in 2006 and ended up going to the World Series, Leyland was my manager. Gene Lamont was the third base coach. Lloyd McClendon was the bullpen coach. Don Slott was the hitting coach. Rafael Belliard. So it was really cool. So I get traded to Detroit, and Leyland calls me. He's like, "Case," he's like, you could just tell he's probably smoking a heater on the other line. He's like, "Case," he's like, "We're excited to have you. Can you make it down to Tampa today?" I'm like, "I will make it down to Tampa. I'll run to Tampa from Pittsburgh if I have to, right?" So I ended up getting down to Tampa that day. At the time, the Pirates were the worst team in baseball. I only played there a few months. So I literally went from the worst team to the best team in one phone call. So I was thankful for that to begin with. So I go down to Tampa, and all the media's around my locker, right? And congratulations on being here and all that stuff. And I'm answering questions. And I've really never even talked to Leyland. All these years of kind of looking up to him, I've seen him passing, and he was a scout for the Cardinals when I was with the Reds, so I'd see him at times, but I really didn't know him. So Leyland comes over to my locker. He's like, hey, Case. He's like, "I need this guy real quick." So I tell the media, "Hey, Skip's got to talk to me." So I go over, and I leave the media. I go into Leyland's office. It's Gene Lamont, who's the third base coach. Gene Lamont and Leyland are like Abbott and Costello. They've been like best friends since they could talk to each other back in the day, and they were in the minor, came in the minor leagues together with Detroit, and obviously they're the best of friends. Lloyd McClendon's in there too, Lloyd's a great guy. Really never got a chance to really get to know him either. But here I am in Leyland's office. It's B, Leyland, Gene Lamont, and McClendon. And if you've ever followed my career, I wasn't the fastest guy out there. I thought I was all right, but it kind of looked like I was ice skating in quicksand. You know, it was like just terrible running technique. Like nowadays, they have all these personal trainers. Like you would, you know, you're teaching your kids now. I watch my kids. I'm telling them, you got to be cheek to cheek. You know, you got to be cheek to butt cheek, and you got to get those knees up and run. But what I did was I would hit the ball in the gap and then just turn into this guy for some reason, and it was like ice skating in quicksand. It was phenomenal. Bro, that's just a side note of this story. So I go in, and Leyland's like, all right, Case, he's like, great to have you. He's like, Gino, he's like, give Case the signs. You know, he's like, go through the signs, and then Chuck. So Gene's like, all right, Case, great to have you here. I'm going to go through the signs, boom, boom, boom. He goes, if I go to my ear, it's hot, right? That means something's going to be on. So I go down my leg, I can go to my hat, everything like that. If I go to my hat, it's a hit and run. Okay, and we're not going to have you bunt because we've seen your bunt act too, which is terrible. I retired from bunting like years ago because I was so bad. Popping balls up to the catcher, rockets to the pitcher. So Leyland's like, all right, Case. He's like, now stay with me. He's like, meanwhile, this is my first conversation ever with Jim Leyland. He goes, if you get on first base with a walk or a hit, he goes, I don't want you looking over at Lamont at third. He goes, I want you looking at the dugout. So now I'm locked in. You know, I'm like, oh my, Jim Leyland talking. I got to lock in. So I lock in. I'm looking at Leyland. He's looking at me. He's like, now stay with me. You know, he stands up from his chair. He's like, now if I come to the top step of the dugout, and he goes, as soon as we catch eyes, whenever we catch eyes, if I jump up and never come back down, you steal. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? This guy, obviously, he's all over my speech, bro. So that's what happens when you're a runner like me and you go with Jim Leyland's team. Leyland will tell you, if he jumps up and never come back down, that's when you steal. That was my first thing. Skip, I love you for that one. That was my first story. That's my Jim Leyland story. Okay, Craig Griffey Jr. Okay, is he here somewhere? I got Griff stuff somewhere. What do I got? I got a bunch of different things. But Leyland's there. Griffey's somewhere in this house. But dude, Griff's a great guy. I played with Griff for 6 years. Just, you know, Lockhart next to him. One of the greatest players ever. I think when he came to the Reds in 2000, he was literally Michael Jordan. 57 home runs a year, driving in 150 runs. Unbelievable. So Griffey comes to the Reds. And, you know, I don't know how to say this, you know, but I say it bluntly. You know, hey, listen, I was born, I'm kind of a hairy guy. I got hair all over the body, right? And I used to go down to CVS, get the wall clippers like $19.99. And, you know, if you have the wall clippers, you're like, and you go to like shave your body, you're like, boom! It's like, it's a battle, right? It's like a UFC match or something. You get cut. You're guaranteed 3 cuts if you know, zap your shoulder, zap your arms or whatever. So one day I come in, and Griff's getting his head cut. He's getting a haircut has his own haircut guy come in. Boom, he's getting shaved. He's getting it tightened up. You know, he always looks so perfect. Him, Lark, all those guys, Dimitri. So Griff's in the bathroom, is getting his head tightened up. And I look at these clippers and I'm like, man, those are not the same clippers I buy. Those are Ken Griffey Jr. clippers. Those are like the Tesla of clippers. Those are like, it's unbelievable. They're like the Mercedes-Benz, the BMW, whatever you want to say. These clippers didn't even talk. Like my clippers are like, right? Griffey's clippers are like they're purring, right? Turn them on, they're purring. They're just like, I'm like, man, those are awesome. Boom, a couple minutes later, it looks so smooth. He comes out, I'm like, that's unbelievable. Those are the greatest clippers I've ever seen. As a matter of fact, those aren't in the stores because I've never seen those kind of clippers in the stores and sound like that. So the next day I come in. I know that night after the game, I go back to the hotel, getting ready for bed. I'm like, man, I need to trim it up a little bit, right? I got to get the clippers going. But I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to ask Griffey for his clippers, right? That's what I got to do because those things are unbelievable. So Griff's like, before the game next day, I say, Griff, hey, any chance I saw those clippers you got the other day. They're the best clippers I've ever seen. Is there any chance I can borrow those, maybe trim myself up tonight? He's like, yeah, no problem, Case. He's like, take them. So I'm like, oh, what a great guy. So I take his clippers. Boom, after the game, I go, you know, whatever, he probably hit a bomb or two like he does, you know, 600 some home runs. But that night, I go back to the hotel. We're in St. Louis. I turn the clippers on, and they're just like, they're as awesome as I thought they were. Just, you know, just like, oh man, this is going to be so awesome. I've never even seen them. Sure enough, they're like, you know, wide blades. No, I didn't shave my legs, but I start going right here. Boom, I start going up, boom, and they're just like, boom, 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 boom. And like 5 minutes later, I was like, man, that's the greatest shave ever. Not a nick on me. There's no battle, no UFC match. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm looking great, right? So I'm saying to myself, this is unbelievable. So I go back the next day before the game, go to Griff, get to the yard, I'm going to get something to eat, bring the Clippers back. I go, Griff, dude, thank you so much, man. Now I understand the difference between Ken Griffey Jr. and Sean Casey is a different level. Even in the Clippers, your salary's big. You shave your whole body with these? And I'm like, yeah, I shave my whole body. He's like, you can keep them. I'm like, oh, buddy. I'm like, my bad, dude. I feel so bad. So sure enough, hey, that's what happens, Griff. Thanks a lot, dude. You trim your whole body, you get the $800 Clippers that you bought. I don't even know where you bought them. Matter of fact, I still have them. If I think about them, let me go see if I get them, because they're upstairs. Here they are. Ooh, yeah. Look at these things. I kept them. This is the only problem. I can't use them now because I rusted them out. This was 2001, I think. What is it, 2020? 19 years later, these things are rusty. Can you imagine trimming your whole body with these things now? Not a good idea. Not on my list of things to do. All right, last story. 2 today. Maybe we'll do this again. I don't know. I got so many stories in the hopper. It's unbelievable. This is a fire pit story, right? Got the fire going. This one. Let me get my glove. Hang on. Gotta have the glove for this one. Okay. Okay, so it's not 2000, 1997, I come up with the Cleveland Indians. Best team in baseball. Jim Thome's there, Manny Ramirez, Matt Williams, Oral Hershiser, the list goes on. Omar Vizquel, Sandy Alomar, they're the best, right? So we get called up 97, it's awesome. Just had a great year. 98, we come into spring training, right? And every morning I'm doing picks. Me, Jim Thome, and Richie Sexler doing picks every morning. It's awesome getting to know these guys. And I just hit like 380, so I'm thinking, man, I'm definitely going to be the next first baseman for the Indians. I'm the number 1 prospect in baseball, right? Jim Thome, he already has like 400-some homers, so I'm like, this guy's got to have been the big leagues 12 years already, right? So one morning we're doing picks, and Tome's like, hey, Case, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, this is my chance to find out how old Thome is. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm like, I'm 23. I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 26. I'm like, whoa, buddy. I go, my time is limited here in Cleveland, Cincinnati. Here I come. That's what I was thinking. Like, oh, I'm in trouble. There's no way that they're going to bring me up when Jim Thome's 26 years old. So sure enough, my mind started going like, how can I continue to try to impress the brass, the guys in the front office? How can I impress Mike Hargrove, who was our manager at the time? So one day, I'm like, I'll start going out early, because that's smart, right? Just show up early to the dugout, and that'll impress Mike Hargrove. So sure enough, I come out early for the spring training game, and the other guys, I guess, trying to impress Mike Hargrove was Torey Lovullo, who's the manager now for the Diamondbacks. He was on his way out. My career was just starting. Torey was in Buffalo on his way out in AAA, but obviously turned into one of the best managers in baseball. So I go and sit next to Torey, and Mike Hargrove is in the dugout too. So I say, hey, what's up, Grover? And he's like, hey, Case, good to have you out here early. And I was thinking, oh yes, this guy, he's seen me out here early. This stuff's working already, right? Well, Bob Feller, who literally, look him up, kids. If you don't know who Bob Feller is, Google him. Bob Feller might have been the greatest pitcher of all time. He's in the conversation. First guy to really throw probably over 100 miles an hour around that era. And not only that, he was like the greatest American hero. I'm not totally sure, but it's at least 3, maybe 2 to 4 years he served in World War II. In the prime of his career, Bob Feller, Ted Williams did at some point too. Bob Feller went out and he served and he, came back and, next thing you know, he was the greatest American hero. I mean, he left in the prime of his career, served the country, and then came back, right? So Bob Feller every day would come out and throw catch in front of our dugout, right? He'd throw catch. So he comes out and he's in full uni. Number 19, greatest American hero ever, right? And a player would throw catch with him every day. So sure enough, I go out and they introduce him. There are 8,000 people in Winter Haven, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the greatest American hero of all time, living legend, and the greatest pitcher of all time, arguably, Bob Feller. Place goes nuts. 8,000 strong. Boom. The Cleveland Indians are the hottest ticket in town. Everyone's there. Everyone's there to see Feller. He comes out. He tips his cap. He's got, spikes on. He's ready. I feel like Bob's ready to pitch. Like, he could go out there and pitch if he needed to. Well, Mike Hargrove's like, Case, why don't you throw catch with Feller today? So I'm like, that's a great idea. Why wouldn't I throw catch with Feller today, right? So I'm like, this is great. I go, I'll have 3 stories to tell one day when I'm doing a Facebook Live in 2020. I got 2 hits in the big leagues at that time, and I'll throw catch with Bob Feller. There's 3 stories I have, right? Greatest American hero of all time. So I go out, introduce myself. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Sean Casey. Just want to say hi. He's like, oh, nice to meet you, son. So I go back. Crowd's getting ready. It's right before the game. Boom, Bob throws it to me. Boom, I throw it back to him nice and easy. Get it back. Boom, throw it nice and easy again. Well, Torey Lavello, who's over the dugout, and Torey knows the story. He's one of the only ones that was actually there to know it. He says, hey, Case. He's like, clean it up, man. He goes, you're lobbing the ball to the greatest American hero of all time. The guy, you're lobbing it to him. He's like, throw it. He can catch it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I'm like 23. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, okay, I got to throw it better. So right when I'm about to throw it, I realized one of the reasons I played first base at that time is because I had the yips. And I don't know if you've ever had the yips. When you have the yips, there's 2 ways to throw the ball. You can either lob it the way I am to Bob, or you can put a little mustard on it and throw a little harder. But there's no in between. There's no like, hey, nice medium speed, right? So I'm like, okay, I got to back up then, right? So I'm like, okay. I start backing up. Bob's like, why is this guy not throwing me? Why is this guy not throwing me? But I'm gauging the distance. I'm like, I got to get far enough away where I can throw the ball with a little bit on it. But that's perfect. You're going to hit him right in the chest, and everything's going to be good. So I back up. You can tell everyone's like, what's this guy doing? Number 56. Oh, no, it's number 52, I think. So I back up. Bob's like, here you go. And I'm like, here you go, Bob. I sling it to Feller, right? And this is Bob Feller. And I'm watching, a 23-year-old kid. And I'm like, what the heck's this guy doing? Ball's getting closer, closer, closer. Boom! It hits Feller right in the chest. He's like this. He staggers back, staggers forward. Boom! Hits his knee. He's like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm freaking out now. I'm like, I go flying up. I'm like, oh my God, Mr. Feller, are you okay? And he's like, oh. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I just killed Bob Feller. Hit him right in the heart. This is unbelievable. I'm going to get released. Like, right? Next thing you know, here comes the EMTs out of the stand. They're like, back up, son, back up. And all of a sudden, EMTs are around him. I back up. And all I can hear from the crowd is, hey, who's number 52? Who's 52? I think I was 56. 56, 52. Who's the inside linebacker that just hit Bob Feller right in the heart? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Now here comes right before the game. So here comes the training staff. They go out. The training staff's there. The EMTs. Feller's down. Right now the players are out. And remember Tommy coming, put his arm around me. He's like, Case, what's going on here? What happened? I'm like, I look around. I'm like, I just hit Bob Feller. I just played catch Bob Feller. Hit him right in the heart. I threw it a little bit too hard, Jimmy, and he couldn't get his glove over top. He's like, oh my God, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. So anyway, they get Bob up after 10 minutes. They get him to his knees. They're like, Bob, Mr. Feller, what happened? And I'm like, thank God, that he's up. Like, Bob, what happened? He's like, oh man. He goes, tell you the truth, I was golfing the other day, and I went to hit my driver, and I must have caught the back of the driver right before I hit the ball. Boom, blew out my shoulder. He goes, so when the young lad over here threw the ball a little too hard, I just couldn't get the glove over in time. It just hit me right in the heart. I'm like, oh my God. So he gets up. I think they whisk him out of there. I don't know if he went in an ambulance or whatever, but he went right through the stands, right out of there. The crowd is like beside themselves. I'm beside myself. Obviously, I'm a 23-year-old kid trying to make the team. I almost killed Bob Feller. Next thing you know, Mike Hargrove, the manager of the Indians, puts his arm around. I was like, Case. He's like, man, it's your lucky day. I'm like, why? Why? He's like, because if you'd have killed Bob Feller, you definitely would have been released. I was like, oh, yeah. It is my lucky day. But you know what? I was traded to the Reds 2 weeks later, so who knows? Who knows the reason why I was traded to the Reds? But Bob Feller, rest in peace. That's my last story, a Bob Feller story. But it's a beauty. I can't, you think back to your time. I have so many stories in the hopper, so many good memories and funny memories and things. And, I'm grateful for it. But hey, listen, hopefully you guys were entertained. I'm still in my house the rest of the day, as I'm sure you guys are. And if we like it, maybe we'll do it again. I got more stories out there. I just had a chair over there with John Cena on it that I was looking at for some reason, the John Cena The Rock WrestleMania 2013. And I got a great John Cena story. Maybe I'll reboot. So, hey, everybody, have a grateful day. Have a great time with your families in the house. Play Scrabble. Watch Gladiator. Do whatever you got to do. But hopefully we'll see you soon. And take care. Thanks.